Recent news may have got everyone worried. But at the same time, the world is changing in many positive ways and don't make the headline. For example, in 1980, 10% of the newborn children died from preventable causes. But that figure was dropped to about only 3% recently. In just 15 years, 25 countries have halved the number of poor people on the UN Multidimensional Poverty Index. But perhaps the biggest under-discussed news item of all is this. The world is changing dramatically. It is rapidly transitioning to becoming a very different planet in geopolitical power, in technology, in finance, and even in human behavior. Let us take you back for a moment to 1986. That year, India and China had exactly matching GDP figures. Both countries have a gross domestic product of 276 billion US dollars. 1986 was not so long ago, but let's look at how things changed. Today, India's GDP is $3.4 trillion, while China is in excess of $18 trillion. It grew 65 times. In a single generation, China went from nowhere to being one of the largest economies in the world. These are stats, but we must never forget, behind these numbers are literally 2 billion human stories. Tales of life-changing developments in the lives of women, men, and children. And of course, there is technology. 50 years ago, if you want a supercomputer, the nearest example would be in a university on the other side of the planet. Today, we each have one in our pockets. It's designed in the United States and made in a factory in South China, just around the corner from here. That's teamwork. The world is transitioning to a new model. That's a fact. But how can wise heads make sure the changes are positive? In the newspaper today, we read about wars in Europe, in Africa, and in the Middle East, causing misery for millions. Yet, it need not be like that. It is imperative that we create ways for positive cooperation that bypass negative geopolitics. It can be done. When the Belt and Road Initiative held its 10th anniversary conference in Beijing last month, 151 countries were represented. That's 3/4 of all nations on Earth. Of course, not all the 3,000 plus BRI projects will be a smooth success, but all of them show an attempt by different communities to work together for the common good of mankind. And this spirit of peaceful cooperation is what is important. I'm here representing Friday Culture, a group that works to balance the rather negative portrayal of our city and our country in the international media. Instead of starting a war of words, we encourage good-natured exchange of information through our presence on social media and the internet and through forums like this. In chapter 30 of the Tao Te Ching, we read, "Those who advise the ruler on the way do not want the world subdued to weapons. Such deeds bring on retaliation. Thorn bushes grew where armies have camped." 24 centuries ago, Lao Tzu realized that a peaceful rise was a better choice than a military one. It's always good to listen to the wise, which is why I sincerely look forward to hearing what the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region and the panelists have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Hu.